Alright guys, so the meals that have been consumed so far, 80 grams of oats, 1 scoop of protein, and about 242 grams of mixed berries. Then I also had a meal of just 26 grams of Sour Patch Kids. And now, during the workout, I have 40 grams of dextrin, 5 grams of BCAAs. Then post-workout, I'll be having 1 scoop of whey and 5 grams of glutamine with an apple. I've got the next post-workout meal after that. But for now, let's just go hit a workout.
Gonna go hit some shoulders. Be fun. Considering we can't walk today.
My ass is fucked. That sounds really disgusting, but we just hit legs really hard. Bulgarian split squats are a killer. That set. All we've got left now is front raises and 10 sets of 15 fucking lateral raises. It's horrendous, the volume, at least with that exercise. Then we're gonna hit some seated row afterwards. Now the whole emphasis is about me hitting seated row and like a bit more back movement for the rest of prep is to try to actually kind of maximize the muscle growth I can still stimulate in my back. Also to teach like the carbohydrates and the nutrients to kind of be going into my back come show day, so that way, you know, when I do carb up, it fills up a bit better and I just kind of present a bit more of a fuller package. Cheers. Alright guys, finished the workout now. Immediately post-workout is 1 scoop of whey and 5 grams of glutamine. I'm meant to have the BCAAs in there, but they're watermelon. So I tried it once. Essentially mixing a mocha protein with watermelon just doesn't end well. Anyway, also apple, nuts pretty much. The entire post-workout meal with the post-post, which is like a bit bigger, is in my bag in the back, and I'll be having that in about 45 minutes to an hour. So because I used to have 2 apples post-workout to get around 25 grams of carbs. That first one only gave me 13, so I actually had this little protein ball as well from Youfoodz. It's got another like 13 grams of carbs in it, about 13 more grams of protein, not really many fats, like 5 grams at the most. So that's kind of, yeah. I do kind of like to stick to like the same amounts like each day, but occasionally like something like that I don't really mind having. It's pretty delicious too, guys, so yeah. I'm placing a lot of emphasis on my nutrition timing for this prep, but at the same time, if I'm half an hour late for something, that's okay. Although, to be honest, when you're deep into a prep, you do actually start to notice it. If you're half an hour late to a meal, you feel horrendous. To an extent, of course. I'm not at that final stage yet, still got another 13 and a half weeks to go, and as soon as we step into that area where the body fat gets exceptionally low, like 5-6%, and then lower than that, I will begin to notice those gradual changes much more, as well as also if I miss a meal, it'll be a bit more noticeable in terms of my mood, how I feel, all that. Anyway guys, that was a bit of a little rant rationale behind food time and why I'm sticking to a nutrition timing basis for the prep. But anyway, I'm going home now and I'll catch you guys back at the house for the next meal. So guys, we have the next meal, just got home, and it's just gonna be 300 grams of white potato and 150 grams of kangaroo mince. So the reason there's around 150 grams of kangaroo mince is to, you know, get enough protein in to have a good amount of like muscle protein synthesis post-workout, and the carbohydrates are good because they're really slow release, but they've also got full of potassium to restore those electrolytes, as well as some sodium, also just full of vitamins. And to be honest, it's all down to preference really for like that. Like you could have rice as your carbohydrate source, but like if your body can digest the potato and now you actually feel good with it, I do recommend it. So I'm consuming my next meal right now, and to be honest, there's a majority of my day that just like regulates, like water regulates every single day. There's certain meals I'll keep the exact same quantities, exact same amounts, like my pre and post workout I nail to a T because that's of most importance for me. But then there's also other meals that I can apply the IFYM approach to. And one of those I'm having now is actually just to get a protein source with a bit of fat, actually. Some fiber as well, is Quest Bar. Now, I've already eaten around half of it. Thing is though, serving size is 60 grams. Pro tip guys, if you're having Quest Bars, protein bars in general, always weigh them. This one was 65 grams. Had to track it as 65. Now, that's like a differentiation of like 15 calories, I think it was, or 17. And that's not that much, but if you do consider it in the long term, like if you had one every day, that's like 100 and something calories a week. So yeah, that kind of adds up, especially over like a contest prep that might be 24 to 28 weeks. That could be roughly another half a pound to a pound of fat loss that you didn't get simply because you just didn't track the protein bars correctly. Anyway guys, that's in like an exaggerated like example I suppose, but at the same time I'm glad that I at least gave you guys my explanation on that. Got this from AJ Morris. He is excellent. I'm actually going to link his YouTube channel down below in this video because you guys should really be going to follow and to watch all his content. It's fantastic really. His podcast, Teen Muscle Radio, is great. Yeah, alright, I'm going to consume this meal now because we're actually moving house tomorrow, so I'm going to be having this while I'm listening to a few podcasts from Revive Stronger. And I'm going to be packing up the house essentially. So that's what I'm going to be doing for now. I'll catch you guys at the next meal. So that's what we're working with for the next meal guys. It's to give you like a time reference, that last meal I had was around midday. It's 2:20 now. So it's been quite a while. Just been in my room packing the shit out of it. Yeah. Now this meal is essentially just to get another protein spike throughout the day because it's a bit better on my digestion when I have my protein spread out through the day. Now I've had most of my carbs, I have like barely any left. And pretty much the rest of the day I've just got protein and fats. So later on tonight I'm gonna have some peanut butter, have some Greek yogurt. It's gonna be great. Oh, and to make things even better, for me to be eating this, I'm literally watching a YouTube video of Max Tuning having a cheat day. Weird thing is, it makes me enjoy my food more because I know I'm eating in line with like what my goal is. Look at it. Why does it always want to focus on my face? So right now I've got a meal in a bowl over in the kitchen. It's just 60 grams of cereal because with having to have the yogurt and peanut butter later, I had some carbohydrates still left over that I actually had to get rid of, and I'd prefer to get rid of them earlier in the day as opposed to like much later, just because to be honest I'm going to be having a decent amount of fats later, around 25 grams or so, like in one meal. So I'd prefer to just keep the fats and the carbs kind of separate, although like there's no real bad sides of having them both together. It's just what I've been advised to do for my contest prep, and it makes the most sense for me. So having the cereal now, which is kind of good because it's kind of a good way to keep active, kind of makes me a bit happy I suppose. I can like snack on the cereal whilst I just continue to pack. Alright guys, down in the garage at the moment, about to go and pick up Josh. Borrowed his car today to be able to go and do tasks required for moving into the new place. Anyway, that's not that much of import. Right now, just having a green tea in between meals. Now, I mean, there's a link between having green tea, particularly the extract, and you know, oxidizing fatty cells, obviously then being use them because then they're transported into the blood to be used for energy. But personally, I just drink it for preference. Green tea actually stops that, despite actually being caffeinated. So I like to drink that because I generally do have stuff that has caffeine in it throughout the day, and this helps me to unwind. I'll have a peppermint tea later on. And I think one question I'd probably get asked with that would be like the carbs that are going to come from the teas. Do I track them? No, not really. I'm getting like 1 gram of carb like each, so it doesn't really matter in the long term, guys. Granted, my expenditure is actually quite a decent amount higher today than regular days. 1 from volume at training, and then 2 from packing just consistently throughout the day. Now, I haven't had my usual walk, but I actually traded that off for some for the packing, because that burns actually a bit more calories. And also I'm trying to get trying to give my legs a bit of a break, because my calves have been developing extensive levels of fatigue lately from just the constant walking. But anyway, guys, I need to go pick up Josh. Guys, so it appears we've reached the end of the video, because this is the last meal. 35 grams of peanut butter, and there was originally 280 grams of Greek yogurt. I've since eaten a lot of it. Anyway, macros I hit today was 211 protein, so slightly over. 278 grams of carbs, so I went slightly over that. And I went under my fats by about 5 grams, so about 65, no, not 65, about 62 or so. And yeah, that's just a full day of eating for me on contest prep, guys. Sincerely hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one.